Dom Giordano on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Kate, welcome back. Great book, and thanks for joining us on it.
Hey, Dom. It's so good to be with you again. I don't think we've talked in a while.
No, it has been a while. So, Kate, when you throw the word Marxism in here, I know you're doing it in a measured way. People go, oh, come on now. You guys in Talk Radio and the Heritage Foundation. What is this, Richard Nixon and the McCarthy hearings?
No, I mean, look, I think it's so important for people to understand that there is Marxism at the root of what we are facing today, because what Marx did that was sort of unusual is that he came up with this idea that people cannot live together harmoniously. He said the world is divided in two. Now, he said it's between oppressor and oppressed, but he said that people are locked in an irreconcilable battle. And it's a view of the world that is so at odds with the American view, honestly.
It is. Well, critical race theory says the same kind of thing, that all we can do is mitigate, but you're not going to get away from the oppressor and the victim.
That's right, and that's what people need to understand. Things like critical race theory are absolutely rooted in Marxism and in that Marxist view of the world, whereas what you and I know to be true about the United States is that, first of all, we set very high ideals for what we wanted to achieve as a nation, and we've never stopped reaching for them. That's the difference, and we believe that as a people, we can work together to solve our problems. That's why I get so upset about things like CRT and this whole notion that we can't solve our problems by working together. It just goes so against the American system.
Now, one of the chapters here, and I wanted to use this, it's later in the book, Sexualizing Children and the Attack on the Family. So I don't remember Marx talking about that, Kate, but are you arguing he would endorse it because it's another means to both divide us, but then to say that we are divided?
Yeah, actually, you know your Marx well. You're right. He really did not talk about that, except to the extent that he said we need to destroy our sexual norms. I don't know if you remember this from reading your Marx, but he actually wanted to abolish marriage, and he wanted simply a community of women to be available to men. But it was really sort of later utopians and then eventually sort of the Frankfurt School that understood that they could use sexuality and sort of destroying our norms and traditions. They could use those to destroy the free Western society. That's why it became so important. And of course, we're seeing that come to fruition today with the craziness that's going on in our schools. Books like Genderqueer and Lawn Boy being in our children's elementary schools, and the whole transgender ideology being pushed on our children. That's all rooted in Marxism.
So, Kate, at the college level, the people that we get on, or every time you see an eruption of stuff, it's usually they'll say, well, socialism looks pretty good. I don't hear them even know about Marx as much. So how about at the college level? How does this make itself apparent?
Oh, I would say they've gotten really front and center with their Marxism. You know, one of the things that Mike, my co-author, and I found was there was a very interesting article from the New York Times in 1989 when the rest of us kind of thought that with the collapse of the Berlin Wall that socialism was ended. This New York Times article said, this is the year that Marxism has gone mainstream in American universities, and it has gained wide acceptance. But none of us were paying attention because we were all so focused on Eastern Europe. It is actually a lot of overt Marxism, as well as even more of the sort of less overt talk about socialism. But this is being pushed heavily in our schools, and I'm telling you, this is why you're seeing this unbelievable attack on Israel across our college campuses. That is what's at the root of this.
Yeah, break that down. How so? How does that come up? Because, Kate, as soon as we're done speaking, I don't know if you saw it with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's a very good entertainer. He's gotten a mass audience. Some of it COVID-driven, some of it, because of all the misinformation from government, et cetera. This became the relief valve. But now this guy with no knowledge, I believe, citing Edward Snowden and others. He's saying, Israel, didn't you learn from the Holocaust? You're committing a genocide. They show this drone shot now. So, I mean, this is a major player now who you would not think would just throw it out and move to that side. And, Kate, I would tell you there are two mobs out there, and I'm not sure. One we've identified, the transgender mobs. The other is the Israel-Gaza stuff. Those are the two that are just overrunning almost any event that we have.
Yes, and they are not disconnected, surprisingly. You'll see there's a great chapter in the book that Mike largely wrote about how these different groups started to come together, back in 2013, 2014. They were all there together. The pro-Palestinians, the pro-transgender, the pro-Marxist, they all came together because they realized that they had common cause, which is to bring down the West. And Mike has a piece. I just was editing it. Mike is going to have a piece in the Washington Examiner. I think it'll come out on Friday. He actually heard somebody, he has on tape, somebody saying I know this is the famous piece. Did you see the thing that Elon Musk reposted? Apparently got 40 million views, where he's caught on tape somebody who's saying, this isn't just about Gaza. This is about bringing down the West.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Kate, let me play you, maybe not 40 million views, but this is making a lot. Let me play you a little bit of Joe Rogan, what he said on yesterday's show or last night about Israel, genocide, the Holocaust, and Edward Snowden as his source. Here's what he said.
They're always saying they're only targeting Hamas and everybody else is a casualty. Well, if those guys are just unarmed civilians and they're walking alone, that's what they appear to be.
Dresden.
And you just blast them from the sky with robots.
This is the tragedy of war.
Yeah, this is insane. And no one knows what to think now, because if you can't talk about that, if you can't say that's real, then you're saying that genocide is okay as long as we're doing it. And
that is what we're saying.
And if you're saying that from a perspective of someone who literally went through the Holocaust, or your people, your tribe, went through the Holocaust, and now you're willing to do it?
I hope the irony's not lost on you.
It's so nuts. It's so hard to imagine that someone where a culture, like a country was like officially founded in, 47?
48.
48? Okay. Officially founded. So that's so recent. and you guys are willing to do what was done to you that led you to believe that you needed to start your own country?
All right, let's stop it there, Dan. I think we got enough, Kate. That's about all I can take in a short burst. This is a major figure here who I think is insane in what he's saying here and doesn't have a thumbnail knowledge of anything, along with the guy who referenced Dresden, which I think the Allies were exactly right in what they did. Yeah, just don't throw Dresden next to Hiroshima, et cetera, out there, as if we don't know what you're talking to. Dresden, I don't know that Rogan knew what the hell he was talking about. I'll be honest. What do you think, Kate?
Yeah, I think it's really scary, and I think that's what happens when you get people like this who are, as you said, exactly. Joe Rogan is an entertainer. He is not a historian or an analyst of world affairs. And to have someone like that, who is in essence a dilettante, talk about such serious matters in such a way, I think it's really dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is. Where is the book available, Kate? NextGen Marxism, what is it and how to combat it?
Yes, it is available on Amazon and wherever you buy books. You can order it now. It comes out on Tuesday, and we'll be doing an event on it that you can watch remotely at the Heritage Foundation on Wednesday. If you want to learn more, we'll be talking about it.
Kate, thank you so much. Thanks for you and your colleague, Mike Gonzalez, we've had on too. What a great matchup on something like this. And I think this peels it away. It's not the same old, same old. It's the iteration of it now. And I think the Gaza stuff, the unknowing here, the savagery of these mobs toward Israel that's being fueled, it's unrelenting, and it is almost a perfect example of next-gen Marxism.
Yeah, you're so right.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Tom.
Dom Giordano. Weekdays noon till 3. From Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.